Joining us now is CBS News' national security contributor Samantha Vinograd, a former assistant secretary for counterterrorism at DHS. Sam, good morning. This Afghan national was brought to the U.S., as we heard earlier, in 2021 under a program under the Biden administration called Operation Allies Welcome. You were at DHS at the time. You, I understand, were part of some of the vetting in this program. What can you tell us about this program?
Adriana, during the withdrawal from Afghanistan and the months thereafter, the United States government used a program known as parole to allow entry temporarily to tens of thousands of Afghan nationals. That program is created under the Immigration and Nationality Act and gives the Secretary of Homeland Security the discretionary authority to allow entry for humanitarian or other reasons. That program is administered by Customs and Border Protection. It is very important to note, though, Adriana, and I was deeply involved in this process, that every Afghan national who did enter the United States under the parole program was vetted. What that means is that experts reviewed whether there was any derogatory information, any negative information about that individual in U.S. holdings. If any negative information was found prior to entry, the individual wasn't allowed to enter. It is an outstanding question about whether new information, bad information about this Afghan national did surface after he entered, and if so, if law enforcement did act upon that information, Adriana.
So, Sam, there have been nearly 60 attacks like this on law enforcement just this year. How difficult is it to prevent these?
Adriana, we don't yet know whether this individual acted completely alone, but if he did, I will tell you this. Trying to find a lone wolf, an individual who radicalizes to violence alone, is harder than trying to find a needle in a haystack. Experts try to work at a community level to work with community members to identify signs in individuals radicalizing to violence. We have efforts online to try to monitor for radicalized content and statements an individual is radicalizing to violence. And we also have physical deterrence and law enforcement in places to try to make attacks less bad, to mitigate them. But it is incredibly difficult to prevent lone actors from radicalizing, and we need even more resources devoted to this effort in this threat environment.
All right, Sam, thank you so much.